Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today is the 7th of March, 2019. I'm Roy Potter. Welcome to the Potter Expositor. It is raining here and quite windy, and the internet is going in and out. So this program, you'll probably have a lot of skipping in the video. Hopefully it doesn't affect the audio too much. I want to play a clip right off the bat because it's going to be about what we're talking about today. Let me see if I get my internet back here. I've said for a long time now that Trump needs to act, that the rhetoric isn't matching what's happening on the ground. Do I love what Trump stands for? Yes. But I'm not happy with the excuses about why he has gone forward. I spent quite a bit of time on the phone last night with a Republican insider. We're going to talk a little bit, of course, today about the immigration thing, which is kind of at the center of what's happening right now. But I have to point out that it's not just Lou Dobbs that is saying, President, you got a problem. And the way he puts it is that the White House lost its way. And I'm not sure that it ever actually got going. I mean, I'm not saying that there weren't a lot of great things done. The Democrats and their entire platform, if you could call it a platform, is disgusting. It's evil. All they want to do is they don't want to argue issues. All they want to do is attack people. That's the sign of demons. I'm not pretending not to know how bad the Democrats, the leftists, the deep state are. But by the same token, we've been promised that action would happen. Bill Barr might be taking action the next 4 weeks, but I'm not going to bet on it. But let me just name some of these people, okay, that have been calling out Trump to act, to do something. And they've done it in different ways, but we've all done it. And I see it on Twitter all the time as well. Let me just read these off. Lou Dobbs, Dan Bongino, Sidney Powell. She's the former DOJ prosecutor who wrote License to Lie. She was exposing the DOJ. Alex Jones, of course, Jim Jordan, Devin Nunes, Bill O'Reilly, Joe DeGeneva, Greg Jarrett, Judge Jeanine Pirro, Tucker Carlson, and there are many, many more. I'm very concerned about what I'm seeing across the board. Failure to counter these attacks on the First and Second Amendments, and what efforts are being made are really, really lame. Okay. Again, I apologize for the internet this morning. The weather is pretty bad, so we'll just have to deal with it as we can. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and play this. Most of you have seen this already, I'm certain. It's everywhere. It's everywhere, but I think we need to play it here so that we've got a basis for where we're going. Again, I apologize for the internet going in and out. Here we go.
Up next, the president holds a White House meeting with corporatist global elites. What in the world is going on? We take that up here tonight, the topic of my commentary when we continue. Stay with us.
The only way we're going to have the workers is to do exactly what we're doing.
To be clear, the presence of the Chamber of Commerce president, Tom Donahue, is impossible to misinterpret. D.C.'s biggest lobbyist wants to reverse the direction of rising labor costs and return to the cheap labor policies of the 20 years that preceded the Trump presidency. I don't even know why this White House would let him in the door. He is the enemy of this administration and absolutely tries to reverse every policy in business and economics that this president has advanced. The White House could only muster, by the way, 7 corporate CEOs for this big event. In what should have been a reminder to the president's advisors and counselors that in politics as in life, it is important to never forget who your friends are. And if this White House thinks that listening to the beguiling prattle of Tim Cook, Tom Donahue, rhino senators like Susan Collins is helpful to this president, then the battle for the forgotten man and woman in this country will be decided by the very establishment this president ran against. an establishment that spends vast sums of money and energy every single day trying to destroy him and his policies and his historic presidency. That Mr. Trump would advance the interest of the globalist elites ahead of our citizens would be a tragic reversal on any day. But today, on the same day, the Commerce Department reported the United States had the largest trade deficit in our history. The same day, the president of the New York Fed said straightforwardly, economic growth is slowing, that the southern border is being overrun by record numbers of illegal immigrants. It all means the White House has simply lost its way, and that the nation's heart will be, after all, broken by the very same people who brought 50 years of consecutive trade deficit and the export of millions of middle-class jobs, and who have fed the swamp for decades. I have a request tonight. Please let your congressman and this White House know what you think about all of this. And please, be very honest with them. I'd make the same request of the advisors and the counselors to this president, who in this have served him and the nation so poorly.
Okay, like I say, the internet is going in and out, and I'm very sorry for that, but there's not much I can do about it. That's when you don't live in an area where they're up to speed in a lot of ways. Okay. I don't really think I have to explain much there. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, when Trump said that at CPAC, I went, what? As far as we need immigrants, and in a way where, I mean, we still have what, 20 million people unemployed, 23 million, something like that. It's a fairly large figure, actually, despite what the government says. But regardless of all that, he said that at CPAC, and it was one of several things that I kind of went, what's this all about? And then I noticed that, and I mentioned it the other day, that Stefan Molyneux brought up, why are you talking about bringing immigrants in when you have all these Americans without jobs? Now, I want to address that before I go to the Second Amendment problem and the First Amendment problem. Talking to my Republican insider last night, he says, look, I don't like these 1HSB visas either. But the problem is that we need well-trained, more highly educated people in these positions, like for Apple, those types of things. And America just hasn't produced them. And I went, hold on. Why did that happen? Because people like the elites in Apple and the leaders of this country who want leftist Marxism, the dumbing down of America, the transgender push, all of these things. We're dumbed down because they've done it to us. And now they're turning around saying, well, we really do need these highly educated people. There's only one reason why that happens, and that's to destroy America. So, okay, we see the problem. How do we fix it? Well, this individual said, well, what we need to do is we need to discourage people from going to four-year colleges because it takes too much time, too much money, and get them in tech schools and have these tech schools taught, at least partially, by people inside the tech industries. And I agree. And this is something Trump can do right now. He should have started it 2 years ago. He should start pushing to support these tech programs to get Americans up to speed, because they're lousy in math, they're lousy in science. Frankly, it really is true. But this was something that happened to us from the inside, and we were too damn lazy and not vigilant enough to see what was going on. So anyway, the point is we need to train our own people. We've got a little time to do that. But to bring in more of these immigrants who then bring in more of their families, et cetera, have their anchor babies, for lack of a better term. And then what's really bad, and this is where Trump got off the rails again, really bad, you're bringing these people in, and what do? They vote Democrat. The very people that are trying to destroy him and the Republic. And that's really what the Democrats are about now. They're having a little problem in their party, especially Nancy Pelosi, with these new first year House of Representatives that have come in. I'm not going to name them. You know who they are. She's having some problems with that, but the whole thing is really going that way. Whether or not she really wants to stop it, I don't know. I kind of doubt it. But you see what I'm saying. So Trump has made a really severe, dangerous turn on that issue. The reason why the border is the way it is because he pussyfooted around too long, okay? As commander-in-chief, he should have sent the military down there. But no, we had to keep doing these things with the regime change and foreign wars, et cetera, et cetera. Am I being critical? Yes. I told you, when Trump does great, I'm going to say so. But we needed to fix our problems before we went out and tried to fix the world's problems. You can't tell your neighbor to clean his house when your yard is a mess. And I said that from day one. Am I upset? I promised my Republican insider I wouldn't get upset this morning. Okay, Trump needs to get a grip. Okay? It's his fault his cabinet and his administration's filled with these neocons that fight him and these leftist Marxists. It's his fault. I don't care what the excuse is. There are other ways to get around this, and he has refused to do it. A national emergency? Damn right. Our country's in grave danger. We're about ready to go under. There's about ready to be a civil war. And that's why I bring up this thing about that the right is beginning to revolt. And we're going to talk about that. That's actually a good thing in a lot of ways. Okay, so another thing he did at the CPAC was he said, you know, I've signed this order to protect our speech on colleges, and if they don't do it, then, you know, well, we're going to take their funds away. Well, okay, great. But how about the MSM? How about the social media giants, et cetera, et cetera? Now, Jones said the other day, Alex Jones, that there's a big club coming down on that here pretty soon. Well, we'll see. I've heard this before. I'm from Missouri now. I don't believe anything until I see it. But that's an issue. And we've been calling out that for a long time, too, the failure to act on that. Has it been because he's had a DOJ that fights against him? Absolutely. But there were other ways to go about this, and he just didn't do it. The Second Amendment. Wow, this really concerned me. Here was at CPAC. He sits there and he says, remember, the other day I showed you where he said in that meeting that he wanted these red flag laws. That's essentially what he was saying, because Mike Pence started the conversation about the California red flag laws. And then Trump said, yeah, take the weapons first and then due process. Exactly opposite to what the Constitution says, and rife with corruption and with wrongdoing when the governments do those types of things. Okay? And everybody should recognize that. Well, during CPAC, he says, he didn't say that about take the guns first and then due process. What he did say was, I'm here to protect your Second Amendment, at least for another 6 years, I hope. I think that's how he put it. Maybe that was his plan. And I'm going to protect your Second Amendment. Well, Mr. President, you haven't done it yet. As a matter of fact, you've given up a lot of ground on it or not acted at all. So that was a concern that I had. Plus the fact when he said, I'm here to protect you, what that does is protect your Second Amendment. What that does is that makes his listeners do what? Sit back and relax and not take any action. Well, in the last few days, of course, Illinois has gone forward with their banning of assault weapons. They're still moving down that road. We've got that problem in New York, in New Jersey, in California, in Oregon, and Washington. These different laws are going out. And the banning of what they call assault weapons, they're just semi-automatic sporting rifles is what they are. Yeah, they look military, they look nasty, and yes, they carry high-capacity magazines, but they're not actually military weapons. And most of us know that. It's all a scam. But they want to ban those in Illinois, and it said they were going to give them 300 days to turn them in, which may be a typo. It may only be 30 days. I don't know. Either way, it's bad. This is almost ex post facto. This is making a crime something that wasn't before, and then looping everybody in on it who shouldn't be. This is typical baloney from our government. Prohibition was similar. Then they needed they at least went to make an amendment to the Constitution. Now they don't even do that. They just ignore the Constitution altogether and do as they damn well please. Well, in Illinois, there's a big uproar. And rightly so. And people really do. They need to resist this with everything. Now, the way the government works will be the way they do all these things. They'll see these people stand up, and then they'll go cherry pick a few little people to make examples of them. And we need to resist that. You remember in Idaho, they went after a guy up there, a vet, because he had a little medical problem, and so the VA flagged him, and they went after his guns, sent the ATF or whoever it was after his guns. The local sheriff said he protected this guy, and he said, "No way, you're not going to do it. You're not going to do that." and I think it was successful. Well, the sheriffs in Washington state and some other areas of the country have told their state legislatures that they're not going to enforce these new gun laws. Well, the AG in Washington state said to the sheriffs, if you don't enforce this law, there will be consequences. I tell you what, the right is starting to revolt. All of these people calling Trump out, and of course they know the Democrats are bad. I'm not saying that. I'm not trying to put all the force on Trump. No, of course not. But his failure to act, now, what did I say 2 years ago? They're going to go after him. Then they're going to go after his friends. Then they're going to go after his family. Then they're going to come after us. Then they're going to destroy the republic. And that's exactly the course they're taking because he's thought he could reconcile with them, make deals with them. No. As Dan Bongino said, there is no more time for negotiation. We cannot reconcile between the leftist Marxists in the Democrat Party and in general and the principles of the constitutional republic. It's irreconcilable and it's going to destroy the country. We can't stop it. It's going to happen. It's partially a judgment. As I pointed out the other day, and I'm going to make an issue of it here this morning, we have pushed this LGBTQ thing I might as well add the P in there now, pushed it so far and we're telling everybody else in the world how they have to treat it. And yes, it is corrupting us. I'm sorry, but it is. And I'm just going to come out and say it. Ban me off YouTube. I really don't care. It has destroyed our country, and it's continuing to destroy our young. They even go to infanticide now. Is that just an LGBTQ thing, Pete? No. I mean, certainly it isn't. But you see how it degrades our population, degrades our citizens. Freedom is one thing, but pushing an agenda, pushing a perversion, as those things are, pushing it. I mean, knowing it's there and saying, okay, well, just leave them alone is one thing. Although there's this thing where, if they say, well, be tolerant. So at first you stand against something and then you become tolerant of it. And then you accept it and then you actually push it. And I forget the exact terms, but you all have heard that before. And that's where we are. And, Alex Jones makes this point all the time. Hey, people, if you teach your kids anything or if you do something, take a picture of them in a bathtub, the authorities want to come and get you, but the schools can teach them that, little boys or little girls, dress them up in dresses, have gay men come in there and show the kids how to dance in their skivvies and how about homosexuality and all this stuff. And we're allowing this to happen, just like we're allowing it to happen with our First Amendment and with our Second and everything else. We have a corrupt IC and deep state and New World Order that are pushing this, and far too many people are behind it. Well, the Bible people may not care about it. They might think it's just a fairy tale or whatever. But this process has destroyed every culture it's ever infected. And I'm ashamed, again, as I said before, I'm ashamed that Donald Trump bid on that and showed that LGBTQ flag during his campaigning. And I'm ashamed now that he wants to push. I can understand wanting to protect homosexuals, that they don't get bothered or whatever. But we've got a problem here he's got to fix before he starts telling the world they've got to do it. I'm getting tired of him not taking care of the problems here at home. First, Second, and Fourth Amendments must be protected, even by force. And he's refusing to do it. The immigration thing. Here's a problem. What's happening right now? The deep state, the IC, the New World Order, the leftist Marxists are forcing socialism upon us, an authoritarian form of government that has always destroyed and killed millions of people. That's what they're pushing. They're pushing an invasion from the South. And at the same time, what are they trying to do? Disarm Americans. Do you see what's happening here? Why doesn't Trump understand this? And he's got a freaking AG in there who's against the Second Amendment. Our country is being judged for its wickedness and its evil. Its wars on innocent people. Allowing the IC, which is the secret society, the secret combination that Kennedy warned about and that so many scriptures have warned about. And we've allowed it to go because we thought it was benefiting us. They're evil. They're evil. They answer to no one. And I've been pointing that out for how long? So We're going down this road. The country's being judged. We're being invaded by these people. What is the average IQ of a Central and South American? I think Stefan Molyneux said it was like 80. Probably not even that. Yeah, there are exceptions on both sides. The point is that we are being invaded by people that understand only two things: a full belly, and however they get it. Mostly they'll vote for people who give them free stuff. They don't care about rights. They don't understand it. It's like trying to promote, and I don't like the word democracy, but a democratic form of government in a place like Afghanistan or those things are not going to work because those people don't think like that. So here we are. Now we're bringing it here, and it's destroying us. A firm stand has to be taken. Bring the military back here, control our borders, protect our infrastructure, protect our people, stand fast to the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, the First, Second, and Fourth Amendments in particular. All the others are important too, but without those, we might as well forget it. So you get what's happening. Force socialism, push an invasion, disarm the American people. The examples of the people that I named at the beginning of this, from Lou Dobbs, Dan Bongino, Sidney Powell, on down the list, are now saying, President, you're off the rails. You've lost your way. You're listening to the wrong people, which is partly your fault. Actually, majorly your fault. You must act. You're waiting for the AG to do it. That's what we keep hearing. We're kicking this can down. Oh, we're going to do it in a day. We're going to do it in a month. We're going to do it in 6 months. The other thing, which really got to me, we've wanted him to declassify all of these documents, right? So that everyone can see who's at fault here, from Podesta to Clinton to Comey to Brennan to Clapper to Stroke to Page to Holder to Lynch to Obama, right on down the list, right? And he hasn't done it. He said last November that he was going to hold on to it. After he said he was going to put it out, and then he didn't, and then it came out and he says, well, I'm going to hold on to it. It's going to be my secret tool, my secret weapon for the next election. What? We haven't got that much time. He's going to use it and blow it up on the Democrats at a time and place of his choosing, he says. You really think they're going to let him get away with that? He needs to surprise spring it on him like right now. Oh, he knows more about it than you do, Potter? Well, what's the track record so far? His friends, his family, and we are all under attack, even by places like Twitter and Facebook and YouTube. Hi, YouTube. We're not winning, folks. We're being slowly dropped down into the pit. Trying to do it slowly enough, although they're speeding it up now, that we don't get it. We don't really sense it. But these people I read off sure as hell do get it. I think most of us do too that are here right now. Again, I'm sorry about the internet. I pointed my book out the other day, the Crimson Thread, and I need to make this announcement. I went to check it, and I found out that it has been put out of print. It is discontinued. It's still listed on the Amazon page, but it says no longer available or unavailable, out of print. So I'm sorry for all of you folks who went there to try to buy it and you can't. I don't know that I'm going to put it back in print. It didn't do that well, and what it did do is it sure stirred up a lot of animus. So I don't know that I'm going to do that. I haven't decided yet. They want some particular things done that I'm not certain I'm willing to submit to. So at any rate, I'm very sorry that I pointed my book out and told you all to go check it, and then to find out that it's out of print, it's not available. I need to make that announcement. Okay. So, ending on this thing on Trump, he's got to stop allowing this push for the LGBTQ thing. It's going to judge us. It's going to destroy us, as it has everything. I don't care what Ivanka says or Kushner. He also has to stop thinking that tweeting and complaining is solving the problem and that it's alerting people. No, we know about that. I read a tweet last night, as a matter of fact. I think it was on Sidney Powell's Twitter line, where this guy wrote in, or lady, I'm not sure which it is, but basically he said, we're tired of tweets and we're tired of rallies. We want to get this thing on the road. We want to nip these people in the butt. We want to secure our republic. We're tired of the tweets and the rallies. And I've said that for how long? Okay, I think I've covered everything I wanted to this morning. I know it was quick. It was run through. Partially I did it because there's a problem with the internet, and I see it. It goes from red to yellow to green. You know, it's jumping there, which means that the rain is interfering with the line somewhere, somehow. And so I apologize for that. Let me go to chat real quick. We're not going to do this long this morning. The bottom line is that, yes, people, the right needs to revolt, not against Trump, but in favor of the republic and in favor of what Trump stands for, and demand that he take action. And do what they're doing in Illinois, standing up against these crooked, criminal, treasonous legislators who are trying to destroy the Second Amendment and the right of people to defend themselves. Bring in all of these invaders. You know, look at Dearborn, Michigan. The Somalis that are there. They're bringing in these people. They'll have weapons. Look what's happening in London. Look what's happening in Germany and in Sweden. How are we going to protect ourselves? Well, you know what it is. It's because the powers that be want us to go down. And the goddamn ATF and FBI and DOJ are going to assist them in doing it. I suspect that Alex Jones is going to have some things to say about this morning. I played those clips the other day, right? You remember those clips I played the other day? And Alex Jones was one of them. If you didn't see it, go back. I think it was the 2 videos ago. You know, he said, if you're not, he says to Trump, look, if you're not going to defend the First Amendment, we know you're not going to defend the Second. And I've said a lot of times, ladies and gentlemen, that we're on our own. We have to look at it that way. We don't want it. We want. I heard Faith Goldie say, nobody's coming to save us. We got to do it ourselves. And I know that's true, other than God. But even there, the anniversary of the Armenian genocide. Yes, I'm going to talk about it. The anniversary of the Armenian genocide. 1.5 million Christians were slaughtered by the Turks. The Young Turks that you hear about, they took the name for their news service here. Yeah, 1.5 million Christians were slaughtered. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what we're looking at. That's the end game. And unfortunately, the institutions of government, the 3-letter agencies, are going to go along with it here in the United States, because I don't see them standing up. Oh, we get 1 or 2 here, but by and large, they're not going to help us. They're part of the problem. I see people talk about Trump as Israel first. I have a problem with that. I do. By the way, I'm going to stick my neck out here. I wasn't going to bring this up, but I will. This whole thing about Omar. No, I don't like her. No, I don't like the fact that she's pushing Sharia law, basically, and all of those things. No, the fact that she used fraud to get her brother into the country. Immigration fraud. Yes. All of those things. I agree. But they're making a big deal about her talking about this dual citizenship problem. Now she's directing it towards people who have dual citizenship with Israel. Okay, and because she's only pointing that out, I think that's wrong. But as you all should know who have followed me for any length of time, I've constantly said that if someone has dual citizenship in America and with another country, they should be prohibited from holding public office, especially elected public office. And I agree on that point. Okay? They always want to turn it into anti-Semitism. No, I'm putting it out everywhere. If you have dual citizenship in America and another country, you are prohibited, in my estimation. You must be prohibited from holding elected office. So that's how we solve that problem. All right. Yeah, I really get tired of this thing pushing on the Israel thing too, because I know a lot about the history. No, I'm not against Jews. I've said that Israel has a right to exist as a nation and all that. But man, there is such a huge deception being played out on the people. It's just amazing. Yeah, S. Wood says Pelosi is afraid of these three young socialists. I think she is. She knows that what they've done is they have groomed the younger generation, all of these millennials, etc. They know the program they've been at. And now here it is staring her in the face. The fruits of her labors, what you sow, you shall also reap, are staring her in the face. I wonder if she's going to have it come to Jesus moment and go, uh-oh. What have I done? You know, I don't think she's smart enough to do that. Yeah, mass protests, Frank, sure, of course. That's like they're going to do in Illinois and other places. The problem is, and that, you know, every time you do that, you get infiltrated. And unfortunately, who infiltrates you? The same damn assholes that are supposed to be protecting you and your rights. The FBI, the CIA, Army intelligence. You see what I'm saying? If they were righteous, they would be helping the people to do those things. But no, they don't. Because the people that lead those organizations are out there to help the leftist Marxists and the demons take control. And I'm sorry. Yeah, mass protest, yeah. I'm not saying that's not true. I'm not going to organize it. I'd be the last person to. I think you know the story. You know, they tried to link me into that I had helped to set up the whole Bundy Ranch thing. No, I didn't. I found out about it like one day and went out there and we did the blessing thing, and then I saw how the government was treating those people like the Israelis treat the Palestinians. Not saying it's unjustified, but it was unjustified the way they did it at Bundy Ranch. And so I stayed and I pointed all this out in a whole bunch of videos that I did. And I was disgusted and ashamed that people wearing badges and guns, Americans, would act like that. And some of them weren't Americans. I'm certain of that. Kind of got proof of that. So that's what we're looking at. Our own government stands against us. And Trump, he needed to go in there and start cleaning this thing out. And I don't mind exposing it all. He's done a good job on exposing it, but I don't know that he actually planned it out that way. Oh, the cute people say, oh, that's part of the plan, that's part of the plan. Well, look at the end results. Oh, well, it's not finished yet. Yeah, okay. A lot of innocent people, a lot of people that really only were standing up for Trump are now looking down the barrels of guns, having their lives destroyed. You know, back in Jesus' day, there were people that were doing the same thing. They saw him going around preaching and talking about the Beatitudes and these things in the typical New Testament scriptures. Okay, there are other historical things that present a different story, but I'm just going with you right now that believe this stuff. Matter of fact, I've been on the Twitter on a DM talking with a lady about some of these things. And if you read the New Testament, you'll see often, they'll say, well, when are you going to, take up arms and, bring the kingdom in so that we can kick the Katim out? The Katim were the Romans at the time. It means invaders is basically what it means, foreigners. But anyway, when are you going to kick these guys out? When are we going to restore our kingdom, our country? Okay, and he didn't do it. He didn't do that. According to him, that was not his mission at the time. right? The way you look at the history of it. There's a different side to that story, but I'm not going to go there today. It's in my book. We might be doing the same thing to Trump. We might be expecting him to do something. I mentioned it in passing the other day, that he can legitimately, scripturally and in other ways, be considered a Cyrus. No, he's not an Antichrist, and I explained that the other day too. But if he's the Cyrus, it's about trying to restore prosperity and giving us back our inheritance, our temporal inheritance, more or less. He's not the Davidic king. He's not the Mashiach. And of course, there's a false one of those, like we're talking about, a false and Antichrist, I don't think his job is actually to save the government. Maybe it's just to further show how much debauchery we are in, because certainly pushing the LGBTQ thing is part of that. And no, I'm not talking about hurting those people. No, never. But promulgating that and promulgating the perversions, especially to our children, yeah, there's a problem with that. I like Tulsi Gabbard. Yes, I do. Her stand on abortion is problematic. She's a major in the Army Reserve, military police, I believe. And you know how I feel about women in the military. I don't like that, but I know I'm certain that she's a fairly good lady. I have a lot of good feelings about her. By the way, isn't it real interesting that the Army and the military, the DOD, went forward saying, "Oh, women are." I love women, you know that, but I also believe that we have roles in life. Just like if you get hired to do a job, when you're brought into life, you're born as a man or a woman by and large. I mean, there are a few exceptions, but you're brought in here to perform a role. You go to get a job in a company, and you agree to do that job, or you get fired. You get kicked out. Well, now we've got people that are born as women, and born as men, but I'm using the women, that want to be men, that want to do what men do. That's not what you were brought here to do. That's not why you're here. Oh, but there's equality and all this. Okay, so what happens? Using a very small percentage of the women that can do what men can do, very small percentage, physically, etc., the DOD makes all of these exceptions to bring these women on to do these things. And yeah, though people say, no, yeah. I was one of the first companies in the military to get women, and they were all pregnant within 6 months. I couldn't deploy, and I told that story before. We were not at Redcon 1. We were required to be, but we couldn't be because all the women that made up, like, I don't know, I don't remember the percentage, but it was large enough that took us off the Redcon 1 rating because they were all pregnant. Plus, they couldn't do a lot of the work anyway. We had to lie about it, essentially is what we were told by the command structure. But at any rate, so we've had this big discussion, and the DOD has made all these things, and they're actively pursuing women to go into combat arms and all this stuff, which is absolutely wrong. We're losing what we're fighting for, ladies and gentlemen. We're losing our principles. We're not fighting for our principles. We're fighting for a government, not for our principles and not for our wives or our children. Oh, but women are out there serving the country. Yeah, maybe they shouldn't be. Yeah, that's where I stand. What's some of my proof? This whole transgenderism thing. Look at even the Olympic Committee now is saying that they're going to allow men who declare themselves to be women to compete in women's sports. And what happens? They win. We saw it here. It was a track event where two guys declared themselves as women. Of course, they have these things, well, you have to have so much hormone treatment or whatever. The point is the muscle structure of the men and the power and the strength is there, and they beat the women. And now what are the women saying? This isn't fair. By the way, I agree with them because those were real women. But the lies have been foisted on us and pushed on us to believe. Look at this new Marvel thing, Captain Marvel thing. I really love Colonel Schlichter. Kurt Schlichter. He says, despite what Hollywood says It's very rare, almost impossible. It's happened on occasion when somebody knows a really good martial arts, but it's very rare that a 130-pound woman can take on a 220-pound man. It just doesn't happen. We've been lied to across the board on everything, and we've swallowed the lies, and we keep going down these holes, and we're destroying mankind. Yes, the United States is helping to destroy mankind, and I thought Trump was going to help to reverse this. Yeah, and that's right. See, but that's one of the things Mo Smith they're trying to beat out of us. The men will worry about protecting the female soldiers in combat instead of fighting the enemy. That's true, and they say that's sexist. They want to beat that natural desire that was built into the male. They want to beat it out of them. Look at them look at them forcing to wear high heels, red high heels. Good on Trump for saying transgenders can't go in the military. It was unfortunate that Obama, of course, this was his plan. He hates women. Obama hates women. And he hates the Republic even worse, even more. It's Obama's fault. And his command structure. And then, of course, Mad Dog Mattis, what a joke. Guy was pushing these women in the military and into combat arms. It's wrong. Bruise me not. As a woman with 27 years law enforcement, women don't belong in combat. Thank you, Bruise me not. You might be surprised. I think there should be limited uses for them in law enforcement too, but I can see that working okay. I can see where that can work okay most of the time. I mean, I knew a little guy, a little cop, a male. And I didn't think he could do the job, but, he surprised me. He we got in a fight with a Polynesian one night, a drunk driver who resisted arrest, and he held his own. I was surprised. So it can happen, but it's the exception, not the rule. General Raisin Kane, yeah. Okay. Yeah, truth always, you say yes, put women in combat, equal pay, folks. Well, that's my point, okay? That's the argument, and there are even men that are pushing that. This whole thing with the draft is unconstitutional if women aren't required to register as well. We're destroying the principles that we were built upon, based upon these nefarious and illusional ideas of equality that are destroying the roles of men and women and thereby destroying mankind. You know, in the scriptures, it was forbidden in the Bible for women to wear men's clothing or to, appear as men. Oh, we're a Christian nation. We really understand. We're a Christian nation. Yeah, we push LGBTQ. It's one thing that the Muslims don't do. They execute them. Now, am I saying that needs to be done? No. But that's our judgment. That's why these things are happening, because these people are coming in. And if they take over, all you people that have been supporting this, who also supported the LGBTQ thing, they're going to get rid of them. Not just the Christians. I mean, they're not going to get rid of just the Christians. They're going to get rid of those people too. You're all going to be going, oh, shit. The old saying, oh, shit, you did what I told you to do. Mass arrest, sure enough, I don't see it. It's like I said, I think Barr might make a few token arrests. Probably McCabe, probably Stroke, maybe Page. I don't think it's going to go much further than that. He's too interested in saving the institutions as they are, not in cleaning them out, not in doing justice. All you have to do is look at his past. Could he have had a change of heart now? Could he say, look, I don't have any desires for political office or to go ahead. This is the end of my career. I'm going to do the right thing. Yeah, that could happen. I'm waiting to see if it does. I'm from Missouri, though. I'm going to have to wait and see it. Okay. Yeah, Rock and Robbie, yeah. As a matter of fact, he says, we are already on kill arrest list, so what? Ready to die are you? We saw that here again the other day. It was in the news that the FBI and the DOJ have basically entire files on every citizen in America. That's nothing new. That's not really new information. But the point is that that's what I'm saying. They're not there to protect us in our God-given constitutional rights. That's not what they're there for. They're there to try to take them away and to interfere with our ability to exercise them in the name of protecting a compelling state interest, which is bullshit. What's the motto of my channel? The intel community, that includes the FBI and the DOJ, all that. The intel community is our most dangerous domestic enemy. And it's been shown to everybody in the last 2 years. I did a whole FBI corruption series that you can see it on the playlists. Yeah, Baphomet is gender destruction. It absolutely is. You're absolutely correct. That was Bronco 95. Okay, let's see. We've been going for 45 minutes. Like I said, I know I'm having problems with the transmission. Like right now, it keeps going red, yellow, green, light green, yellow. It's not even in the light gray. It finally got dark green. So I'm not going to make you put up with this nonsense anymore. I don't know how it's actually looking on your end, but I think you get the gist of what I'm saying. Ladies and gentlemen, the White House has lost its way. And also, the constitutional republic supporters, who I will just say the conservative right, they're starting to rise in revolt. And it's necessary. I'm not saying, take arms and go out in the streets, but not to put up with this nonsense anymore. The problem is the powers that be, the very organizations and institutions that are supposed to be protecting us in exercising our rights, are going to be there to take them away from us. And Trump's not helping. He should be giving orders right now to AG Barr to go after every state and every municipality that denies First and Second Amendment rights. Dan Bongino said that there's a division coming in the country. Yes. It's irreconcilable, ladies and gentlemen. It's the perfect law of liberty is something that the leftist Marxists, the demons, despise, hate, loathe. And you are their target. They want to put you on the sacrificial altar and kill millions of you. I have friends that, poo-pooed this for so many years. They say, Roy, you're an alarmist. Roy, look, come on, lighten up a little bit. And now they're looking around, they're going, oh, damn. Okay, so we'll call it a day. Thanks for coming. I'm going to go out and have breakfast. I might do a little live stream on Periscope or something while I'm there, depending upon where I go. But I think we're done for the day. Sorry I didn't take more comments, but I hope you realize that we are in an awful situation, and that Trump can't wait to use this information until right before the election to blow the Democrats out of the water. He probably won't make it that far, and neither will we. But he must, I'm going to emphasize this again, he must stop promulgating LGBTQ peace stuff. And he says he doesn't do the pedophile. Okay, he isn't. But that goes down that road. He's got to stop promulgating it, promoting it. It exists. Leave it alone. Stop dealing with it. He needs to affirmatively and aggressively defend the First, Second, and Fourth Amendments. All the rest too, but those three are an absolute necessity today. Go out and buy yourself a semi-automatic rifle today as a political statement because they want to take them away. As a political statement. I'm not telling you to go and do anything with it. Just as a political statement. And it is good defense against the roving bands, as I said, that are on their way here, that are actually already here. The MS-13, the La Raza, the BLM, the communist groups, Antifa, drug cartels, you name it. But if we have an economic downturn in this country, it's hard to get food, water, gas, etc. You're going to have those roving bands of what you thought were decent people, too. Get ready. Thanks, everybody. God bless you. God bless yours. God bless the Constitutional Republic of the United States of America and the Second American Revolution. Keep your eyes on the horizon, your ears to the ground. Prep, pray, stay out of the way. Support constitutional sheriffs and governors, but don't do anything out on your own. Bad idea. Remember, those organizations that you think are trying to protect your rights or that you think are there to protect your rights are not. They're there to incarcerate you so that you can't exercise those rights or for exercising them. They're untrustworthy. They're demonic. And God bless Donald Trump and all of his righteous endeavors. They're getting fewer and far between. May the Lord send him the spirit of discernment that will descend upon him as the dews from heaven, that he will know the right from the wrong and have the courage to do the right thing. This list of people right there, that's the tip of the iceberg. They're all warning him. They're all saying, "What are you doing? Get back on course." Will he? I don't know. I know we don't have much time out here.